Today on the show, I'm going to break down for you some of the top things that are unselling your top prospects and how to change that right away so that you can make more sales in your business. So first of all, let's talk about the thing that has changed about people that are coming into your world. A lot of people, as you already know, have shifted the dynamic of how they interact with brands online. And many of your qualified buyers are not contacting your brand until they are 85 to 95% sure that they want to work with you. Which means that if your team is weighing them down, slowing them down, overselling them on the benefits and features of your product, or asking them a million questions instead of just immediately inviting them to a call, you are going to lose a significant amount of those sales who would have bought had you just flowed with the conversation naturally. You see, sales is very much about understanding the dynamic and picking up on the buying cues of the person in front of you. Obviously, the most effective thing that you can do in sales is talking less. The less you talk, the more you'll sell. And this applies whether you're selling in the DMs or whether you're selling in a live conversation. The vast majority of your job is to ask open-ended questions and then listen, deeply listen to the responses so that you can understand their buying triggers, the solution that they desire, and what needs to be present in order for them to buy. Those are the three core pieces of information that you need to make sure you understand from a qualified prospect. What is the solution that they want? What is the problem that they urgently want solved? What needs to be present in order for them to buy? These are simple things. And many times myself as a high ticket buyer, as well as other people that you can observe when you're coaching your team, many times out of nervousness, what small business owners and their teams do is they ask 100 questions to try and pull all of these different pieces of information out of people. They're exhausted. They're like, I don't need to be answering all of these questions, or they give them all this work to do for them to just find out about their services. This is why I am continually saying, make sure that you're making it really easy for people to see what your offers are, what they're priced at, and how they can work with you. Make sure you're making it really easy for people to see how to book a call. This is a continuous process that has to happen on your social media and in your bio links all the time. Because in a market, especially like ours today, where people have slowed down their buying criteria so much, by the time they're ready to go, they're ready to go. And the worst thing that you can do is actually take someone who's in a readiness to buy state of mind and actually unsell them, because you're approaching them as if they're someone that is very early in the nurture cycle instead of someone being far along in their readiness to buy. Your job is to know the difference. So number one, make sure that you or your team are paying attention to the cues that someone is presenting and applying the right strategy. Is it a nurture strategy or is it a pivot to offer strategy? Asking open-ended questions is going to help you to determine that, but maybe like 1 or 2 questions, not 5 or 10. Okay. Number one. Number two, don't make it a ton of work for someone to figure out how to work with you. And that includes being able to find your booking link. That includes being able to see a full overview of your offer, the price point, and all of the details. That includes understanding and being able to visibly see easily when enrollment is open or closed, or what they need to know in order to get started. These are simple, basic things that the vast majority of small businesses online do extremely poorly that causes them to lose sales. Another great example. If you are creating content consistently online and your goal is to use your social media platforms to make sales, and you're putting out stories, you're sharing videos, you're sharing posts constantly, but you're not frequently sharing what the program is and how they can buy it, you're going to lose people, because now you just gave a qualified buyer homework to do on behalf of your business. And they're like, who's paying who here? They're going to go work with someone that makes it really easy and really obvious to know what step they need to take to get the information they need to make a buying decision. Okay, so understanding that most leads that get in touch with your brand at this point are probably a lot further along in the buying process than people who made decisions much more quickly and earlier on in the process in a different economy from the last few years. Making sure that your sales strategy is primarily about asking open-ended questions and knowing that you only need tops 3 to 5 questions to be able to move someone through that process. Asking questions like what they've invested in before and the result that they got, what their timeline for making their next investment is and why, what result they need to urgently achieve in their business to be in the position that they want to be in, or their life, or their weight, or their sleep, or their fill in the blank. So it's the result that they want. It's the experience and the investments that they've made. It's the timeline that makes sense for them. And it's really the buying criteria. And this is something that a lot of business owners don't understand. Everyone comes into a buying situation, either consciously or subconsciously, already having buying criteria. And what I mean by that is either A, they can clearly articulate it has to be this, this, and this, or I'm not buying it. Or for a lot of people in their mind, there are criteria, but they have not yet articulated it. Your job is to ask open-ended questions to get the answer to that. In order for you to make a decision about which coach is going to be right for you in this next season of ABC XYZ, what are the top 3 things that are most important to you that must be there in that relationship? So asking someone directly what their buying triggers are literally gives you the answer key. It literally gives you absolute clarity on what this person is going to make their decision based on. Now, it's up to you and up to your team after this person shares that buying criteria to mold your offer if it is in fact the right solution for them to be an exact match for that. Okay. So we talked about speaking less. When you're on the phone with a prospect or when you are interacting with a prospect, they should be doing 80% of the talking. You should be doing 20% of the talking. And a lot of the talking that you are doing is in fact just asking questions and then listening. Okay. The other thing is when you think about selling in the market of today, know that simplicity is going to sell. One of the biggest unspoken objections that everyone is going to get universally right now, whether someone speaks it or doesn't say it, but is thinking it, is they don't feel like they have enough time. People feel over busy. They feel like their schedules are jammed to the brim. They feel like they're maxed out in capacity. And so now is really a time to refine down the number of components in your offer, to refine down the number of different things that they have to do to be successful, and to make it feel simple that they can plug your system into their life. Okay. So making sure that there's a level of certainty and confidence in how you or your team are approaching conversations with prospects is really crucial, because I find that sometimes people out of their own nervousness project objections and or project a level of nervousness by over nurturing or asking too many questions or putting too many steps in the process. And especially if you want to sell to really qualified buyers, they're just not going to put up with that. They don't want to answer a million questions. They don't want to take 16 steps in order to find out about your offer. They just want to know whether or not you're the right person for them. Are you the real deal? Answer my questions. What's the offer? So on and so forth, so that they can move on to next steps. Okay. So keep it simple. That is the biggest piece of advice that I have for you that's going to help you to sell more. We could talk all day long, obviously, about the importance of being consistent with top, middle, and bottom of the funnel activity. But today I'm talking more specifically about what happens inside of actual prospect conversations. So send this episode on to someone that you know would love to sell more. And down below this episode, you will find a link to book a call. If you want to learn how you can multiply your sales and scale your business, talk to a member of my team. Book a call. We have different solutions for all different levels of businesses, and I guarantee there's something that can help you take the next step to get the results that you crave. So scroll down below, click a link to book the call, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for tuning in.